Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, and I would like to welcome all of you to this week's episode of Unscripted. Hope everybody is doing well and hope you're having a great weekend. And I hope you're staying warm, or at least if you're in my neck of the woods, because it's starting to cool off a bit. It's that time of year again. And, I don't know about anyone else, but I really, I really like it when it cools off around Halloween time. I don't know. It's not right having Halloween in the middle of a heat wave. you know, so I like it when it's nice and cool like this. It's just me. Um, all right. I would like to say hello to a couple folks in the chat. We have Dee Penzak and Jessica Jardo. Hello. All right. Um, Now, I do have a little bit of good news. Those of you who have been following the Indiegogo campaign for Island into Stars, you might be happy to learn that they reached their goal and then some. On Saturday evening. So I want to thank everybody who helped to support the film. Um, I think the shows that I did might have helped a little bit, so I'm really happy about that. Woohoo for them reaching their first goal. Yeah. Um, Now it's onward and upward. Pre-production still continues. And of course, if you pay attention, and of course, if you donated to those tiers, you will be able to get the updates about how the production is going. Yeah, I want to say hello to Aged Boomer. Good to see you, sir. When it snows on Halloween, that's a trip too. Yeah, we don't get a lot of snow here though. Um, nothing heavy, and nothing that sticks. When it comes to Halloween or the month of October, it's either hot, cold, or rainy weather. Yeah. Um, but I like it like this though. So yeah, we had some good news there with Island in the Stars reaching their goal. Uh, but of course, you do have to take the good with the bad. Um, we had some casualties this week. We lost Mark Goddard from the original Lost in Space TV series. Um, Phyllis Coates, who was the original Lois Lane on television. Um, Piper Laurie from Twin Peaks and Carrie, among others. And we got the word today we've also lost Suzanne Summers. Um, we're we're kind of losing the greats, and who are we going to have to replace them? You know, the older I get, the more I start to think about my own mortality. But I think I got a few good years left in me. Anywho, um, anyway, the show's not going to be about that. As I said, this week's show is going to be about fun. And some of you, um, Age Boomer says we have TikTok stars to replace them. Oh God, I hope not. Um, some of you might be wondering uh, what the title of the show means. Uh, you know, and I've had some people backstage trying to guess by exactly by the thumbnail or by the title what the show's going to be about, and they have all been wrong. This show is not about bad fast food, even though I could probably do a show on that. I don't know how interesting it would be, but I could probably do a show on that. And speaking as someone who has worked in the food service industry, yeah, I can tell you some horror stories, but we're not going to do that tonight. What I did want to bring up was something that came to mind since we're getting closer and closer to Halloween. Was something that Stephen King once said in an interview, and he said where he referred to himself as the literary equivalent to a Big Mac and fries. And he got some flack for that statement, but yeah, obviously it's something he concurs with. He said it, and it's something I tend to agree with. And I I think about myself in the same way. I am a YouTube equivalent to a Big Mac and fries. Um, I'm the fun channel to come to. Even though in recent weeks I have talked about some heavy subjects, I didn't want to do that this week. I could have just as easily have gone into the war in the Middle East. I could have gone down some dark tunnels, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do a fun show this week. And I decided, okay, I am going to let the chat take the conversation where they want to take it. And this is an episode where the chat Q&A segment goes on for the show. So, since we do have some people in the chat, and I do know we're going to have some coming in a little bit later who are going to be stopping by, now is the time. Hit me with whatever question you want to go. You have the wheel, so to speak. And a lot of unscripted episodes ahead of you too. I hope so. Fast food, you could talk about the downsizing to burgers for one point. Indeed. And hello, Orville Nation. And Big Al Presents. All right, so folks, hit me with your best shot. The Q&A segment is now in session. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I'll give you a second to start typing your questions. No subject is off the table, just as long as it doesn't get my channel yeeted. That's all I ask. Now, one thing I do want to mention right now, I am 7 subs away from 250. I want to thank all of the new subscribers. I want to say hello to all of the older ones. I want to thank everybody for sticking by me. All right. So if you would, please hit the like, share out the stream, and let everybody know I'm here because I'm planning to be here for a while. Um, Jesse says, in all honesty, we all love a good story, but when you're that good at telling stories, don't be surprised if your sequel's nonstop. Yeah. Have brand new movie trailers changed from those of a year ago? New ones in theaters seem longer and boring. Um, yeah. Um, and I think there's reflective films in a lot of ways. I think movies in general have gotten longer and boring. And the one thing that I seem to notice about trailers lately is that people don't see them. At least people in our YouTube sphere. The one thing that I always hear about a movie, or for that matter, a new streaming or television show, is people always say that they never saw a trailer. So they haven't heard of a movie that's about to be released. They don't know what the release date is because they haven't seen the trailer. Now, with an independent film, or perhaps a foreign language film, I can understand that the advertising budget isn't of the kind that the bigger studios have. So I can understand people not seeing the trailer for, like, for example, a movie like When Evil Lurks. I hadn't seen the trailer before I saw the movie. Um, I went simply on word of mouth alone, you know, and that's how that movie has gotten out there. As you see, more people on YouTube are starting to review that movie, you know. But I think Paulie's review was probably the first, and in mine and Sin's Corner's reviews, and Sin's Corner is going to be my guest tonight on The Other Side of Midnight. So please stay tuned for that show. I think our reviews were really among the first to show up on YouTube. But now I'm starting to see that title crop up. So I think word of mouth helps independent films and foreign films. But what's going on right now with the big studio films? I don't quite. And speak of the devil, Sin's Corner is in the chat. Hello, Sin. Yes. Really looking forward to this show. It's going to be a fun one. Um, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with trailers for studio films. Because people always, like I said, people always tell me every time, I didn't see the trailer. I haven't heard of this movie. You know, um, and I got to tell you, oftentimes, unless I see somebody reacting to the trailer, I don't know that the trailer's out there. You know, um, so I really don't get it. I think there might be some shenanigans going on there when it comes to advertising budgets. But to really get down to the nitty gritty of your question, Dave, I don't know. I don't think that movie trailers are cut together all that well these days. Um, they are longer. They are boring. Um, they oftentimes give away too much of a film. Sometimes they don't tell you enough, or they focus on the wrong thing. You know, he says, yeah, cutting movie trailers together is becoming a lost art. Yeah, because I mean, take a case in point. Let's take the Gran Turismo trailer. That trailer is not very good. It doesn't tell anybody what the movie is about, other than the fact that it really doesn't have to do all that much with the game. The game is part of it, but it's not the whole story. It's not an adaptation of the game itself. It's about a guy who became a race car driver by playing the game. You know, now everybody, I haven't seen Gran Turismo yet. When I do, I'll review it. But everybody I know who has seen it loves that movie, but thinks the trailer was awful because the trailer doesn't tell you what the movie's about. You know, and that's the problem with a lot of these trailers. The trailers don't tell you what the movie is about. They don't pick the best moments out of the movie. How many people chose not to go see Blue Beetle because of the Batman is a fascist line in the trailer? Why did that need to be there? Now, what I understand of that particular character is he's a conspiracy theorist, and that this is just some crackpot kind of thing that he would say. But that's one line in an entire movie. One line in an entire movie doesn't make it woke or political. But if you put it in a trailer out of context, people are going to think that. You know, let's take, for example, I on Friday the 13th, I saw The Exorcist, the new Exorcist movie. Now, much has been said about the patriarchy line that gets thrown into it. It's one line of dialogue in the entire movie. And I've seen the movie. I'm going to review it. I had some issues with it, and I had things that I like about it. But I mean, aside from that one line, the movie itself, in my opinion, isn't woke or anything. I don't want to go too deep into it because, like I said, I want to do a review, and I'll probably talk to Sin about it tonight because I know she has some thoughts on that movie. Except to say, honestly, I went into it with like zero expectations and came out surprised by certain things about it. And hello to Shrek PMC. Hoping everyone is doing well, and I hope you're well as well. Sin says the trailer felt very generic for Gran Turismo, made the movie seem pretty meh, but the movie was actually quite decent. Yeah, exactly. This is what I've heard. The trailer is not good, but the movie is great. So yeah, that's why I really want to get a look at it and decide for myself. Here's a couple of anime recommendations for the week. The Toonami classic, The Big O, and the Adult Swim classic, Trigun. Right on. I'll keep those in mind. And hello to Courtney. Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. Good to see you. Long time no see. But yeah, Um, yeah, they really do have to improve how they're cutting together the movie trailers, and, because I think the advertising is what hurts some movies. Um, but, if there's a movie that you wanna go see it. If you wanna wait, for streaming or something, do that too. If it doesn't look like it's gonna be your cup of tea, yeah, I can understand that. You know, I saw a movie today with, Jedi Bill for, Western Cinema Sunday. I saw A Million Ways to Die in the West, which was, it is a Western, but it's, more of a comedy really than anything, you know? It's a Family Guy episode in a Western skin suit. Really, and I'll be honest, I didn't wanna see it, because of some things I'd heard about it. But, sitting down today and watching it, it's actually not a bad movie, and it got some laughs out of me, I'm not in a hurry to see the longer version at 2 hours. I think it's long enough, you know, but, that was the thing, you can't necessarily judge a book by its cover, you gotta give it a look, and then, decide for yourself. Now, going back to, Jesse's point, when it comes to anime, I am not really the expert on anime, you know, um, every time I try to get into, an anime series, I just kinda tune out after a while, and it won't be any one thing that's wrong with it. It's just that after a while, I just kind of lose interest, unless it is a limited series, like Samurai 7, which I do like a great deal than that I have watched, or like a Cowboy Bebop, I'm better off knowing that after a certain point, it does come to an end, you know? If you're talking about something that has 1,000 episodes, then, no, I'm not gonna sit down and watch that, necessarily. Though I do wanna give One Piece a try. I went out and bought a copy of One Piece Red, the anime film, and on the Blu-ray, along with the movie, there's also 3 episodes of the series. So, I'm gonna try and give those a look, you know? But I'm at a point, and don't get me wrong, I mean, the anime I've seen, I've liked for the most part, it's just watching a series and sticking to it. And even with live action series, it's tough for me, to sit down and watch something anymore, you know. But that's really more of an issue with me than anything else. Uh, Another great anime, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Yeah, I've heard that's pretty. I've heard that's pretty good. Oh, you got to step away. Okay, well, we'll be here at least for the next half hour or so, and of course, I'll be seeing you tonight. Yeah, everybody. If you are not yet subscribed to Sin's Corner, please do so. Check out her channel. Very good one. And of course, once again, she will be my guest tonight for The Other Side of Midnight. Jesse says, you're going to like Trigun because it's a Western. Yeah, all right. I'll add that to the list. Shrek PMC says, I put out a goofball video this morning. I'm keeping at it. Well, yeah, you got to start somewhere. Keep plugging. All right. So does anyone else have any questions or suggestions for me? Jesse says, the nice part about Big O only has 2 seasons. Trigun is about the same, but it has a movie and it's got a remake. All right. Boomer says, watch Kids versus Aliens. Okay, we'll do. All right. Well, I have certainly a suggestion this week, and that's the movie that I brought up earlier, and that's when Evil Lurks. Seek that movie out if you can still find it in theaters. See it in theaters, or catch it on Shudder when it starts on October 27th. Check that out. Very good movie. D. Penzax is what's in your DVD or Blu-ray player right now? Okay, well, I'll go ahead and do the video segment early then, because the last movie that I watched on video, I just happen to have with me right here, and that's The Conjuring. I watched this last night with Troy and Utter. I wasn't on the show. I was in the chat. I was following along with my my own copy. So The Conjuring. That's the most recent movie that I've watched on video, and it is it's a little early in the show, but this is my video pick of the week. It's the original Conjuring, so check that out. Shrek PMC is saying Witcher 3. That's the video game, I believe. Yeah. My Blu-ray machine is my PS4. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people use their PlayStations and Xboxes to watch videos. Unfortunately, I don't have a working gaming console right now. So my game playing is on hold until I can find a working machine again. And hello to Jedi Bill. Good to see you, sir. All right. D. Penzac says The Conjuring was fun. Yeah, it is. Jesse approves. And hello to Brett Cohen. Says mine's an Xbox now. Yeah. Like I said, unfortunately, my Xbox isn't working, so once I have one that's working, I can get back to business. Okay, Jesse, take care. No problem. Shrek PMC says, I saw The Conjuring, but don't remember it. Yeah, it's based on a real life case that took place in 1971. Now, The movie mixes fictional events with real ones. So don't go into it expecting it to be gospel. You know, watch the movie, which is fun, which is entertaining. It's very good. But look into the real life case, and you'll see kind of what really went down. Interesting fact: a Blu-ray player inclusion in the PS4 is what won the format war between Blu-ray and HD DVD. Boomer says, "I'm still waiting for the trailer for Late Night with the Devil." Yeah, that movie looks good. I think there is a trailer out for it. I had thought that movie was already in release. Um, let me look into that real quick. Talk amongst yourselves. Let me see. All right, folks, bear with me at the moment. Right, late night with the devil, and obviously I cannot play the trailer because we'll probably get knocked down for it. But this is a movie about a late night talk show that is suffering from low ratings. It's being threatened with cancellation, and the host of the show decides to do this Halloween themed episode to kind of up the ratings, and things don't exactly go uh, as planned for him. It stars David Dasmalchian, who you see here, who you may remember from Dune and The Dark Knight, Suicide Squad, among other films. Um, but yeah, the trailer is out, Boomer, and I don't know the release date. I know I know they played it at South by Southwest back in March, so I'm actually kind of surprised that it's not on streaming by now, um, or if there's going to be some wide theatrical release date. But I tell you, I'm really interested in seeing this one. Um, it sounds like an interesting storyline. Um, so you might have confused it with The Devil Comes at Night. I'm not familiar with that one. So that's another one that got by me. Um, fictionalized, not factionalized. Yeah. Hope to put out another video in 2 weeks about the fictionalized raid of You grit by the Sea Peoples. The Sea Peoples are Trojan War deserters. All right. Well, stay tuned to Shrek PMC's channel, folks, and check out that video when he's done. All right. All right. Does anybody else have any questions for me before we move on? Or anything they would like to suggest or... And while you're all typing, I would like to remind everybody right after the show, we have Geeky Geezers over on Boomer's channel. That'll be about 23 minutes from now. We're going to have a weekend review. There's going to be an in memoriam segment, I'm sure. Indeed. All right. Any other questions or suggestions before we move on? Have I seen the Evil Dead movies? Yes. Yeah, I've seen all of them. I have not seen the Ash versus the Evil Dead TV series though, so I do need to do that. But as far as concerns the movies, I have seen them all. I like them for the most part. Some better than others. I still prefer the original over all of them. But yeah, I've seen them. Part two I haven't seen in a while. So I'm kind of fuzzy on the details. It's kind of the same movie over again in a lot of ways. But I remember liking it. When I first saw Army of Darkness, I didn't like it as much because I thought that it had taken too far of a turn from the first two. But watching it now, I have more of an appreciation for it. And I like that movie way better now than I did when I first saw it. The 2013 reboot is interesting. I like that one quite a bit. It made some changes from the original, but I thought it was more in keeping with the original film. It went back to being more of a straight up, cabin in the woods horror film. Now, the one that came out this year, again, not a perfect movie, but I liked it enough to recommend it. But I really would prefer I really do prefer the other movies over the new one. To be honest, it's the least of the group, but I still like it. Aged Boomer says Ash versus the Evil Dead was incredible. Yeah, I need to sit down and watch it. And I do know that there are comics that are based on Evil Dead, or you know, Ash versus something. you know, um, I can't really speak to those, but yeah, I mean, as far as the Evil Dead series in general, yeah, I'm a fan. And hello to JPRPH1. Shrek PMC says all three, enjoyed them all. I actually remember those. Yeah, yeah, they're good. They're good. 32 flavors of Nick Weiser over on his channel for Toxic Tuesday. He's going to be doing all three Evil Dead movies. Last week he did the first movie. This week he's doing part two, and next week, which is going to be the 24th, he's going to do Army of Darkness. So he's going to do the original trilogy on his show. So please check that out on Tuesday nights. Ah, yes. We are rated. We've officially been rated. Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Resolute Germ. Good to see you both. So thanks for coming on, Deleted. It was a lot of fun. My pleasure. I hope I can find a time where I can stay on for the host show next time. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And hello, Mikey. Good to see you. Jedi Bill says PlayStation 2 had Evil Dead video games. Cool. Yeah, I haven't played those yet. Obviously, so I can't speak to the new video game. Looks very good. I've seen some channels that have played it. Jesse Miller and my pals over at Black Death Gaming. I know they were playing. They are playing the new Evil Dead video game. Looks very good. Looks very good. I like the gameplay, and of course, they got Bruce Campbell to come back and voice Ash, and it's his likeness. So the new game really does feel like you're watching one of the movies. You've seen all three Evil Dead films, yeah. Yeah, the evil. I'm a fan. Okay, so since we do have some new people who have joined us, once again, thank you all for being here. Hit the like, share out the stream, say hello in the comments and all that good stuff because it helps the algorithm. Mikey says the Evil Dead Rises wasn't that good though. Like I said, my recommendation of it is a mild one. It is my least favorite of the movies. I didn't hate it. There were some parts of it that for me worked. But yeah, my recommendation of it is mild. But I can understand why some fans of the original trilogy didn't like it. I can understand. I was expecting it to be a little bit more than what it was. Okay, so the new folks in the chat, while we still have some time here, do you have any questions for me or anything that you would like to suggest to see or read or review sometime down the line? And for those of you who might be new to my channel, speaking of the Evil Dead Rises, I do have a review, a just out of the theater review of that movie. So go ahead and check that video out. Uh, Bruce Campbell's cameo in it was his voice on a phonograph record. Yeah, he's the professor this time around. His cameo is a voiceover. I actually didn't realize that was him when I first saw it, because when I came out of the theater, I'm like, if Bruce Campbell had a cameo, I missed it. But he is in there. It is a voiceover only. But hey, technically he is in it. So check off that box. Taking a little sip of tea here. All right. Any more questions or suggestions or anything? I'll give you all a moment to type. We do have about 10 minutes left. I want to remind everybody that Geeky Geezers starts at the top of the hour over on Aged Boomers channel. So follow me over there. I will be modding the chat. And of course, afterwards at 12:05 Eastern, 11:05 Central will be the other side of midnight. And my guest will be Sin's Corner, who is with us in the chat earlier in the show. Remember that Campbell's a big part of the Marvel Spider-Man multiverse too. Yeah, he's in. I know he's in the first Raimi film. I don't remember. Was he? I'm pretty sure he had to be in the other ones. And he is in Doctor Strange. What's on my shelf? Well, the what's on my shelf pick of the week, as far as movies are concerned, this week is The Conjuring, which Netter featured on her Retro Cinema show last night, along with Troy and Big Al. So my video pick of the week is The Conjuring. And since Al asked, I'm going to go ahead and do the Booktuber segment inspired by Criminali, who at the end of every video takes a random book off his shelf and shows it off. And this week, since he partially inspired this show, this is Stephen King's Night Shift. And this is, I don't remember if I bought this myself or if it was gifted to me, because back in the day, someone sent me a bunch of Stephen King books as a gift. And Night Shift has a number of short stories in it that have been turned into films later on, including let me see, Graveyard Shift, The Mangler, The Boogeyman, which was a movie earlier this year. Sometimes They Come Back, The Lawnmower Man, Children of the Corn, The Woman in the Room, which was made into a short film, which I've never seen, but I understand it's very good. You have the short story Trucks, which became Maximum Overdrive. And there was a remake to that follows the short story a bit closer. Jerusalem's Lot, which figures into Salem's Lot and is now a series on Stars, I think, with Adrian Brody. It has the short story Night Surf that was in Creepshow 2, I believe. And there's also The Ledge and Critters Inc., which were 2/3 of the Cat's Eye anthology film. Boomer says he loves the slipcase. Yeah, if you can tell this, if you can see, the slipcase is 3D, and that's where you can see the ghost behind her doing the clap. Yes, and it's good to see you here, Orville Nation. Mikey says, The Stand's my favorite novel or film from Stephen King. Yeah. The Stand is very good. Yeah. I stayed away from the remake. I didn't see that. I don't know. I didn't hear very many good things about it. All right. Well, does anybody have any more questions or suggestions before we wrap the show? All right. While I give you all a moment to type, I want to say hello to everybody who joined us in the chat tonight. D. Penzak, Jesse Guajardo, Aged Boomer, Big Al Presents, Orville Nation, Sin's Corner, Shrek PMC, It's Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs, Jedi Bill, Brett Cohen, JPRPH1, Resolute Germ, and Gorilla's Random Thoughts, and Mikey Sue's 4. I think you should have a complete tribute video to Bruce Campbell. If you can find someone who can edit one together for me, sure. But yeah, Bruce Campbell's great. I'm a big fan. And I really liked him in Burn Notice too. That's a really good show. In case anyone hasn't seen it, highly recommend that one. I need to sit down and do a rewatch of Burn Notice. Haven't watched those in a while. All right. I'm going to go ahead and wrap the show here. I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank everybody for watching. Everybody in the chat, everybody lurking in the background, everyone who watches the show later on. Mikey says, the Raimis, you could do a whole video about them. Yeah, I probably could. Yeah, I probably could. All right. So I want to remind everybody, top of the hour in about 5 minutes will be Geeky Geezers over on Aged Boomer's channel. And at 12:05 Eastern, 11:05 Central is the other side of midnight. My guest will be Sin's Corner. don't forget to do a Halloween stream. Well, I don't have anything specifically planned at the moment, but if I do, I will let everyone know. All right. Well, this was a fun one, guys. I appreciate everybody coming. I all the suggestions, the questions. All right. Well, that's going to be it for this week's episode of Unscripted. I will be back next week. Happy Halloween month to everybody. I enjoy the rest of your weekend. Oh, whoa, hold on. Emotionally Unstable Amphibian has joined us right at the end. Good to see you, sir. Says cool, and it seems I sub to you again. Yeah, if you're not yet subbed, please do so. I do. I have this show, The Other Side of Midnight. I have a weekend update that I do on Thursday nights. Oh, and one more thing. This upcoming Friday, the 20th, I am going to be the special guest bartender on Friday Night Last Call with Troy Pacelli, Netters Network, and Aged Boomer. And we are going to be watching the pilot episode of Twin Peaks. And we're going to go into a deep dive discussion about it. And then the following Tuesday, the 24th, right here on my channel, will be the first episode of Operation Northeast Passage. And this is going to be a new show with Troy, Netter, Boomer, and myself. And we are going to be watching we are going to be watching an episode of Twin Peaks per week. We're going to do all 3 seasons and Fire Walk with Me. And we may be getting into a discussion about the books as well. So look forward to that. Kyle McLaughlin. Yep. Indeed, very cool. This is something we've had in the works for a while. And we're taking the plunge and we're going to do it. So look forward to that show. And stay tuned to my channel. Have the notifications on. I will be dropping the links. All right. This was a fun one. Thanks, guys. Glad everybody could be here. It was good to see you. From HQ. Good night. Take care. Stay strong, because this is how we win.